4, 3, 2. Alright, welcome back to another April Showers retro cast. In the bottom left, we're going to have our pink Zerg Imperative. And on the top right, we're going to have our blue Protoss Spectre. And this is, I believe, the loser's bracket of the diamond bracket of our April Showers tournament. Spectre, nicknamed Ninja Base King, because he has taken so many ninja bases that he has gotten back into so many games just from these ridiculously placed bases that really, if you ever face him, you are going to want to scout a lot. Not to ruin your game plan or anything, Spectre, but man, he is just absolutely tenacious. Imperative, who has cast with me actually during our live stream of the tournament. Good guy, knows a lot about the game, far more than I do. Also much better at ZVZ than I am, but that is neither here nor there. Probe gonna scout out. See a super standard spawning pool first. This will prevent any early cannon rushes. Do like to see spawning pool first, but this is... oh. Okay, I believe he may have actually forgotten his Overlord. Or he's just doing the old school extractor trick. Though the, nothing to see here. Little psych out, little extractor trick. Going Forge first. Safer than the Nexus first. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to verbally smack myself. Evertras, bad. Bad casting. Bad. Bad. Because if you look right here, that's a spawning pool. And that was a spawning pool on 10. That was bad. I am bad and should feel bad. And I do. Alright. We have Zerglings out much earlier than they should be. This is to punish a Nexus first, which unfortunately Spectre has not gone. And that would explain why these lings are out. A little bit later, bit of a supply issue. There is a full wall off after Spectre did scout that. Oh man, I need more of that delicious Coke Zero, which you can find at your local supermarket. Please plug me, Coke Zero. Give me money, please. And there is a Paladin going down, so this is a delayed cannon rush. Imperative does see it. Spectre says no, tries to go with the 5-year-old defense. If you can't see it, then neither can he. Closes his eyes, says you can't see me. But sadly he does. Alright. Bit of a wonky start so far. Spectre now going for his gas after his first Nexus is up. Cybercore will have a very late warp gate. Timings have just been screwed up all over the place. And not intentionally, but just because of those early lings, that does throw off quite a bit. Expansion about to finish. And that cannon rush is not to be. Probe, by the way, not out on the map, so we will not see any proxy pylons. Or really much scouting before an observer can get out. Ling's doing some scouting of their own just to make sure there are no probes out on the map. Slow Lings though, and gas has been gotten, and now is starting to mine. Spore Crawler up. For reasons. Will help spot observers, actually, so the Queen can help take them down. Will stop Oracles, which aren't so popular against Zerg. Just because the Queens are already out anyway. I've actually been finding this out the hard way. I love my Oracles, but they are a little trickier to use against Zerg for that reason. We'll stop some Phoenixes, sort of. Might want to move that, scoot that over a little bit. Meanwhile, Spectre going for a Robo and a Forge. With those late gases is set back a bit. Imperative staying on 2 bases. And usually 2-base Zerg against 2-base Protoss. Zerg is going to have to do some damage rather than try and take a late third and pretend that nothing happened. And that is the reason for that lair coming up. Spine Crawler, one at the front, never a bad idea. Not a huge investment and will help greatly against any sorts of pokes and prods from the Protoss. Alright, lair coming down. Not a lot of gas banked up. And only 3 geysers taken. So, probably not mutas. It is an infestation pit. Alright, gonna see some swarm hosts, hopefully. That would be fantastic. Spectre has a mental bet on what he might be seeing this game. This is an interesting spot for the Robo. Is very vulnerable to any sort of muta harass. Though fortunately for him, no mutas are on the way this game. But usually you're going to see it more up in here. And quite a few gateways coming down. 7 gates, plus a... oh, 8 gates, and a Robo have all gone down. So we might see a very aggressive 7-gate with the Immortals. And possibly a Warp Prism as well for reinforcements. And some Immortal Micro. Alright, speed just starting now for Imperative. Though he doesn't really have much of a sizable Ling force, so that is actually just fine. Would like to see a Ling left up there just to scout for a third, but really rare for a Protoss to take it that quickly. I do love the vision these Overlords are getting. They will see a lot of what is going on. We'll see this base, we'll see any sort of Warp Prisms coming in. We'll see air, but bit of a face check if it is Phoenix's. And oh dear. That is the Immortal Sentry all in. Will this Overlord will see them. He will see all the sentries, all the Immortals. There is no third for this to kill. So if he bunkers up at his front, and those Swarm Hosts are actually pretty good defense against this. Just because of the, again, free units just trading back and forth. But this is such a brutal all-in. May have to change his name from Ninja Base King to Parting. And, oh, Swarm Hosts and Lings out of position. Force fields could be devastating. These Swarm Hosts are so far forward. If an observer is there, this army could actually see them very easily. Would love to see them just scoot right back behind the Spine Crawlers for a little bit of extra defense. And use those Lings as linebackers to push back that incoming force. And even if he holds this, I'm not sure what kind of a position he'll be in just because he's on those 2 bases, and he's pretty trapped on those 2 bases. So not what Spectre was expecting. We'll see that there's no third. And in this position... this can be scary just because you know the Zerg has been focusing on tech and units. Oh, the Swarm Hosts getting way ahead of themselves. Might have been a misrally trying to rally forward the Locust. I definitely do that all the time myself. And this Protoss is going to get pushed back. Warp Prism is here. Now, one terribly annoying thing that he might be able to do is do some sort of sentry play and force field the main off, but that's so 2011. Alright, trying to poke up. Not much there for him to get to. The Observer is out, so he's able to see those Swarm Hosts. And these free unit, you never want to actually engage these Locusts. But just more wave after wave is coming out, and how can Spectre actually deal with this? This army is not going to actually do anything to this. He cannot cost-effectively get past those Locusts, and all the Zerglings, and the Spine Crawlers to even get to the Swarm Host to hit them in the first place. Speaking of, here is Ninja Base King, and Imperative knows his reputation. This is why those overlords are out here. He is going to see that base and know that something is up. Those Lings can actually counterattack that pretty easily. Even a small force should be able to take that out. This just getting pushed back time and time again. So much gas has gone into these sentries that his tech has been delayed. And Spectre trying to take this third as well. Ironically, Imperative is not going to see this base, but he is going to see this base. And there is the drop and the warp in. Swarmhost not so good at defending anywhere that they're not actually already in position. But some Zerglings going to pop out and shut this down very quickly. Tons and tons of Swarmhosts going out here, take out this base. This will buy Spectre some time. They burrow to take out one drone. Not sure if that was worth it, but he might have been afraid that there was some reinforcements coming there because he does not know where this army is right now. So better safe than sorry, absolutely. And hey, he does take out that probe. Alright, so he's not actually going for that base. He is going for the third, which I think is the correct decision. This base is so much more vulnerable. Just a small pack of Zerglings can take it out. Those need to burrow. Those need to burrow. Alright, this force is now going to see that there's actually no Swarmhost back defending the main. All that patience might actually pay off. Tears through those Spinecrawlers in seconds with those Immortals and those Swarmhosts are not going to actually get back in time. Is going to siege up the natural as well, and force field on the ramp. This base is going to go down. Patience is apparently the name of the game here. All those drones have nowhere to go. This base is going to go down. And lots of Locusts going in, but I don't think he can actually win the base race at this point. And, oh, the Swarmhosts aren't actually rallied to where they need to be. And I don't know what he can do from here. He is building a lot of Spinecrawlers back in the main, but a Warp Prism drop has scared off a lot of these drones, and there is the GG from Imperative. So Spectre, a little bit of distraction with those extra bases, going and committing with those. Oh, also